wanted to touch on confidence. So I have a family member who has been diagnosed with ADHD a few years ago, and I know that their confidence has always been really low as a result of that, because they have never had the support from school, they have failed exams, they've never had the support from parents, and you know, a lot of parents, especially Black African, they just don't know themselves. They just lack the knowledge. So it's not that we're trying to kind of blame them. They generally just don't know. So how can someone kind of turn the confidence into the lack of confidence into, you know, more powerful than?
Yeah. Ooh. I think I'll start with my own personal story. So I think I mentioned that I got my diagnosis when I was 22. I'm 29 now. So 22 is still considered quite late to receive your diagnosis. And there are pros and cons to receiving early diagnosis, because on the one hand, I do know one of my friends is a very, very well-known influencer in this space, and he was diagnosed when he was quite young with his dyspraxia, which affects him differently and a lot more significantly in some ways. But as a result of that early diagnosis, he felt that people placed limitations on him. Whereas in my case, because I didn't have my diagnosis until later, I kind of just took an approach to life and the world as, you know, I can learn whatever I want to learn. Like, I didn't have anyone placing limitations on me in that respect. That's not to say that getting an early diagnosis isn't helpful. I just think we have to be mindful of not socially, culturally placing limitations on what people can or can't do just because of the label that they've been given. So that's one thing I would say. But even when I did get my diagnosis, I kept it under wraps for a long time, and when I did share, I only really shared it with friends who were either also dyspraxic or also neurodivergent in some way. And then over time, when I would find myself struggling with being overwhelmed from having to mask in the workplace, that's when I started to, bit by bit, open up to colleagues. But it has still been scary, and a lot of people choose not to disclose because of the fear of stigma and discrimination. But in terms of the confidence, for me, quite literally, I only became public with my neurodivergence last year, because I was listed on the top 50 influential neurodivergent women list.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I just felt like, isn't it hypocritical for me to be on this list and only like 5 people know that I'm neurodivergent? So since then, I've just been open with it, because I feel a sense of responsibility to show other people, especially other Black people, that, you know, everything that I've achieved and everything you see me doing, getting up to, you know, going to different parts of the world and speaking here and there and doing this and that, it's come from the same brain that I was fearful of people judging how it works. So I guess I've learned to find confidence in the very things that have previously made me feel a lack of confidence, because I think what I'm trying to say is focus on what you have done and what you're capable of, and draw confidence from there. And if you feel like you don't have enough things to reference to feel that confidence, then start trying new things. And it's okay if you aren't great at it the first time. So I've recently been getting back into basketball. We were talking about basketball before. And during uni, I was so depressed, and I remember trying out for the women's basketball team, University of Manchester women's basketball team, and I didn't make the team, despite the fact that I was waking up at like 6 a.m. to practice and, you know, shoot some hoops. But when it came to actually doing the tryouts, just the anxiety exacerbated my symptoms, and I just couldn't like keep up. And then fast forward years later, you know, the NBA season is back on, watching it, and I've also been checking out the London Lions, getting into UK basketball, and now I'm back out there. You know, there's a court near my house, and I'm back shooting hoops again, feeling more confident in my abilities. And I think sometimes you've got to allow yourself to be awkward, like at first, and to be a beginner, and that's what I've had to do. Like, I felt like I was an embarrassment that time when I tried out for the university team, but nevertheless, here I am, years later, about to start a women's league. So yeah, just if you need examples to rely on to boost your confidence about the future, then start trying new things and be okay with not being amazing at it the first time. But I think a good place to start is with look at what you have done and what you have achieved. And I think everyone has achieved at least something. So yeah, that's what I would say to build your confidence. Just look at what you've done already.